on here. So what I will tell you, I'm going to stop sharing, is I know this can be overwhelming, so please engage some help, because if you don't know a lot about websites or strategy or copywriting or sales content, or even what to say on a video, and this is all new to you, then you need help. You might need a couple people to help you. You might need someone like me, a business coach who can talk strategy and the words. You might need someone like Tim or Bonnie who can help you with some of your content. I don't know. You're definitely going to need some tech. And you definitely want to take a look at your website. I would be happy to do any kind of free call with anybody who's interested in maybe a little review of your website. I can give you a couple ideas and send you in the right direction if you're interested in that. I'm all about the strategy. So happy to do that. I do have a biz quiz that you can take that looks at all the other things that are helpful to making money in your business. So it's jumpstartyourbizquiz.com. You can go take that and see what else is missing in your business. And then I have a bunch of free trainings on my website too. Oh, there's a website training one there too that goes into more depth. And I want to say it's, it's jumpstartyourbiznow.com/free trainings. There's a bunch of them there, but there's one specifically for website strategy. Okay. Thanks, you guys.
Wow. You could fit that all in 30 minutes.
I know, right?
It's, in the 10 years we've known each other, I got to say, you always have such, a huge amount of information. All right. And I think you've been at this, about 10 years longer than me. And I think you really have studied this and went, here, this is what I got to switch. This is what I got to, so you've bettered it over the years. But you also, I know one of your brands is talking about love. You love helping people so much that you feel like you've got to help. You feel sometimes like sometimes you're more passionate. So you want to grab them and hold their hand and say, come on. Me, I want to go, get with it.
I definitely hold people's hands and walk people through very carefully getting shit done, because you have to. So many people will take trainings and classes and then go try to figure it out, how to implement it to their world. And probably the most clients I have are one-on-one clients.
Yeah.
Still, because they need it.
They do. That was the talk of why we created the Simple Easy website company, because of the fact I remember sitting in the masterminds, and I know you did the same thing. All right. You'd sit there and write notes. Okay, this is how I can help this person. Right. And Katrina Garcia and I would sit there and go, I just want to come up with something that we could throw a website up for that person so that they can actually see 3 months from now, they can have business. But they refuse to do the simple things. It's like, that's where my idea came out. I need to do this. And that's it. We go, because we see so many times the people who are, they're like standing there with their hands out. I want the help. And you go, okay, come with me. And as soon as they leave you, they don't do the work. It's like, they expect you and I to do it all for them,
Yes. So true.
But anyway.
You got to do the work, people. It's not, this is not a get rich quick thing. Entrepreneurialism there's a lot of things to know, and you can't half-ass your way to success.
No.
It's just not going to work. You're going to be very sorely sorry. And months from now, you might even have to go get a job. So don't do that.
And I still stand behind it. In 2010, when I started, there was a dozen people who told me I did not need a website. I can do it all on social media. And all dozen have jobs working for someone else still till this day. I still have a business.
Yeah.
So, because I listen to people like you who said, get a website.
Yeah. And you start somewhere. You don't do like all this stuff overnight. Yeah. So you start with the website and you just keep adding and adding and adding and adding and adding. That's what you do. It's not going to come out of the gate perfect, which is driving one of my clients crazy.
Yeah.
Like, get that homepage done, get the opt-in, tell your story, show some credibility stuff, and then we'll keep building pages out. You just have to get started with one thing at a time.
Yeah. So true. So anyway, thank you so much, Katrina. All right. I appreciate you coming by, taking time out of your schedule this month and sharing with us.
Bye.
Bye. All right. So today, as you see, Katrina Sawa, Wow, have we had a full day of impactful speakers? Started off with Chaz Wilson this morning. All right, really great thing there. Bonnie sharing about the email marketing, Katrina talking about the website, me sharing the content, the branding, and the automation. But now we get to wrap it up for the day. Today's last speaker, all right, is someone, like I said in the beginning, all right, your network is your net worth. Both Bonnie and Rich today were introduced to me by someone else, and literally I did not know either of them or know their names 60 days, almost. I want to say like last month's event. I didn't know either one of these people, either one of them, because of the fact that people in my network said, you need to connect to these people. They are here this month and speaking. Now I know part of you are sitting there thinking, well, maybe I'm a speaker, Tim. Why don't you have me on? And I have a solution for that you might be able to find out if you're someone that can be out in the future here, or if you have a connection to me. Go to this website right here, just like Bonnie and Rich did. timgillette.com/coffee and book a virtual coffee with me where we can sit down and talk about what you're doing. Well, we can talk about your business, your website, your speaking career. We talk about you speaking here, if that's what you have, a message. If anything, I think I'm supposed to be on something of Rich's. He'll probably tell me what I'm scheduled to be on at his coming soon. I don't even know. It was probably yesterday. Knowing me and my schedule, it was probably yesterday I was supposed to be on something with Rich. But like Nick Cree's been on here, and I was doing stuff with him the other day too. Met him over a virtual coffee. He lives in Australia. So it can be done. But anyway, go on there. Let's bring up our last speaker for the day, Rich. Does it say Rich Trigger?
Yes, it does. I got you, Tim, right away. Boom.
You've got to pull the trigger to get things done, right?
Boom.
Yeah. Anyway, Rich, man. All right. You got some slides today?
I have no slides. You just me.
Just the gorgeous man that you are, isn't it? Yeah. Oh, but by the way, when is it that I'm doing what we scheduled a podcast or something doing with you?
Yes, you will be appearing on How to Rock the Stage show. You're going to be appearing on my show.
Yeah. For
30 minutes of fun and live streaming as well.
Now, I don't even have it on my calendar. I tried to look for it the other day. You need to be
getting a full invite.
Yeah, you need to make sure I have that.
You will have it.
All right. And don't send it to me at the last minute. I won't say anybody who's been on our broadcast today in the comments that has done that to me. So, all right. He's a great CD guy. Anyway, Rich, I'm going to leave you out there. All right. I'm down in the green room if you need me. All right. But it's all you, buddy. Share away with them.
All right. Thank you very much, Tim. And thanks for having me here. I love presenting on media and the power of media. Just by being here today, just by everything you've already heard today, you have to understand a new truth and a new reality. You are all broadcasters. I've been a broadcaster for 36 years. I have done sports play-by-play, talk shows, entertainment, you name it, I've done it. But you are now a broadcaster. Welcome to this new world that we live in, because COVID accelerated the virtual world. Now, let me tell you about some of my upbringing, because it impacts everything I've done as a broadcaster, as a presenter, as a coach now, to help other people build their media empire. You need to learn how to build your media empire. You've heard different elements of it today. So hopefully I'm going to land the plane a little bit and bring some of this into clarity of how you literally become your own NBC, your own CBS, your own PBS, whatever you love to watch. You're going to learn how to become your own brand entity. This goes back to my childhood. This goes back to me watching The Wonderful World of Disney. I'm going to date myself right there. Go Google it. But every Sunday night, there was Mutual Omaha's Wild Kingdom. That was the early show in the night, and it was fantastic. And then after that, you would see Tinkerbell fly into the camera, and it would introduce the Magical Castle. And then Walt Disney, the creator of Disney and Mickey Mouse, would be at his office desk. And Walt would begin to story tell about the new, amazing, wonderful things that Disney was creating and doing and coming soon. He talked for about 15 minutes. He had maps. He has charts. This is a picture of Walt right here, talking about loving to do the impossible. He's standing on swampland where Cinderella's castle now sits. And he took his staff and team. He would talk about this on Sunday nights, We're building the impossible. And then after about 15 minutes, Walt would get done and Walt would go, and now your major feature presentation for the night. Davy Crockett, Mickey Mouse, whoever the heck it was. If you go back and find those on YouTube, most of the time, Walt Disney is better than the feature. He was a visionary. He was a master communicator. And he was able to tell you about the media empire that was unfolding right before your eyes in the late 1960s, very early 70s. And now we live in the day of that being possible for each and every one of us. Think about how you are creating your brand, because with Disney, it was the mouse and Walt. And to this day, I've read many books, talked to people that work for Disney. When they're in the planning, when they're in the business boardroom, there's only one thing that matters. It's the mouse. The mouse always wins every debate, every conversation, because the mouse is the brand and the mouse is glued to Walt. Think about that as we go through our conversation here, because your mindset now needs to change. Like I said, you are the brand. You've worked hard on creating that website. We were just talking about at the very end. You've worked hard on creating a great website. That's not your brand. You've written books. The books are fantastic. They are great lead magnets. They share and show your genius. They are not your brand. No matter how many LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook followers you have, they are not your brand. You are the brand. You are the genius behind it all, just like Walt was the genius behind it all. Think about how you now leverage yourself as the brand, and ask yourself this question. As you're sharing your social media, as you're creating that amazing website, are you pushing things out to the world, or are you creating content that points back to you? There's two different ways of doing this. And often we don't even think about it. We don't think about the fact that we're creating, constantly creating. It's exhausting to create. And we're hoping that something is going to stick. And we're waiting for that new email. We're waiting for that new client. We're waiting for something to come flying back at us. And usually, though, we're pushing out. What if you intentionally created a media empire where everywhere they went, your content was pointing back at you? And they saw you as a genius. They saw you as the expert. They saw you as a go-to person in your field, that you're a class above everybody else. Believe me, it's less exhausting. It gets more traffic. You get more results. Tim's an example of that. That's part of the reason why I connected with Tim. I saw what he was doing. He's getting the traction. He's getting the attention. I want to get to know a guy like Tim. Do you want to have that type of business? You need to start thinking like media. And the other thing you need to think about is, as you put your media out there, is it a tweet, a quick saying, a cute meme, or is it adding value and content to help other people? There's so much noise out there. There is so much noise. Rather than adding more noise to this, your media empire should be communicating value, intent, and something that's worth going all the way through, hitting that button, and adding the conversation, building into a conversation. That's what the new media is all about. So how do you build this media empire, Rich? What exactly are you talking about? You got some great things, but what? Think about right now. We have a massive shift in the mainstream TV. Gone are the days of just three networks. I initially grew up with three networks: ABC, CBS, and NBC. Fox came along later. UPN came along and crashed and burned. The CW was burned. Now streaming content is everywhere. And now we have all sorts of content around the world 24/7. I can remember a day when I went to bed and heard the national anthem. How many of you can remember this? Put this in the chat. How many of you can remember the national anthem going to bed and your TV channels went dark at night because there was no more content? But you can now, see, here we go. There we go. You can relate. You understand. But now you can build your media empire because you are NBC. You can be NBC. Think of yourself as NBC. You are the main hub of NBC. But NBC has NBC Plus, NBC Sports, NBC history, and the list goes on and on. NBC's has little network babies, but NBC is the mothership of all the NBC content. You are the new NBC of whatever industry you are in, if you collect and create your content the right way. Your Twitter account now is CBS Sports or NBC Sports, but it points back to NBC. Your YouTube channel is now NBC Plus, but points back to you and your main website. You want to have one main hub that is the parent company, and your media then is out there like satellites, but the satellites need to be branded identical. Here's a big thing. I work with clients and I see this all the time. Either they have no banner on their LinkedIn, or they have a different banner on Twitter, a different banner on YouTube. They have a different, and everywhere it's completely different. Look at CBS, look at NBC, look at what mainstream media is doing. Somewhere they will have the main peacock on NBC. They brought back the peacock recently. And in doing that, that peacock now drops on all the different sub-platforms, even though it's their own platform with their own identity. CBS is doing this really well with CBS and Paramount Plus. Just recently, they've even done a new logo that's the CBS logo, but it stretches out to be all the variations that showed you the variation logos built off the CBS logo. You need to brand yourself in a way that is a media empire. Brand your YouTube channel as whatever your TV, call it your TV channel. I'm XYZ TV. And then your Twitter has a similar name and use the same face, the same font, same banner color. To you, it's going to sound boring. And believe me, as a creative myself, I struggle with this. I did it the wrong way myself for a very long time. I created different banners. They were cool. They were fun. They were eye-catching. And I did not get the traction I wanted because people were confused at who I was, what I was doing, and they didn't know if they had the right guy. You want them to know they have the right person every time they click on you. Don't make it hard. Make it easy for them to know who you are. Brand your material one way. I am Rock the Stage Media. Rock the Stage Media has How to Rock the Stage streaming TV show, How to Rock the Stage podcast, How to Rock the Stage YouTube channel. You get it? Go back and look at what you're doing and make sure you are pairing things up in a way that you have a network. And then when you post on your network, reference your other channels. Here's where the real magic of having a branded empire is. In your YouTube, reference your Twitter. In your Twitter, reference your TikTok. In your TikTok, reference your Instagram, because the reels are all going to bounce back and forth, right? But make sure you reference them so as people like and know you, they don't have to go to your landing tree. They don't have to go to some of their page to opt into you. You're literally cross-promoting one channel to the other channel while your viewers are watching you. Years ago, this was taboo in radio and television. In radio and television, when I was doing radio, I could not mention what other channel had another football game on it. I would have never have said, coming up later and today on NBC, the Sunday night game of the week, never would have done it because I wanted them to stay on my channel, regardless if it was football, baseball. I didn't want them even knowing that NBC existed. Now everyone is cross-promoting football because football is the main brand. Do the same thing yourself. Learn how to do this. Now, people also are kind of curious when you build your own empire, how do you leverage media, Rich? I leverage video. That's my number one way of doing it. I have chosen to be live as much as I can be. Thank you, Tim, for having me on here live today. This is my third live. I love doing live shows. Yes, I record them. Yes, I play back. Yes, I use reruns. We'll talk about that. But this is my average month right now. 20 times per month, I do a thing called 2 p.m. live. It's a 10 to 15 minute thing. I did shortly before I came live on here, a 10 to 15 minute short discussion, question, micro interview. 4 times a month, I do How to Rock the Stage streaming live. I work with the National Speakers Association. I do 2 shows, and I do a new show for them. So I have 3 NSA shows. I have 27 different live streaming events. That's a media network. Now, you can do that with your post. You can do that with your blogs. Figure out what your main communication channel is, your main style, and leverage the daylights out of building that media empire. Learn how to do that and plan for it. And it's work, believe me. So learn how to have your branded stories too. This is another part of building your media empire, branded stories. You have things that are specific to you and your expertise, but do you brand them that you are the expert? Do you literally have a badge? Do you have a catchphrase? Part of my catchphrase is I help you shine on camera and shine on stage to help you amplify your expertise as a go-to expert. I bring you media. I bring you media skills, media training, because you are the expert in the room, but I want to help you shine brighter and brighter. I have branding stories that I've literally worked with companies that have gone from dull, from one-dimensional to boring, and I will tell those brand stories over and over again to amplify and show people it is possible to do it. For example, coming up is National Stutter Awareness Week. It's going to be coming up in May 8th through the 13th. I bring that up for several reasons. I have lived with a lifelong stutter. It's part of my brand story. I have had an amazing career as a public speaker, broadcaster, entertainer, coach. I've been on stages everywhere. But for National Stutter Awareness Week, I am not just talking about it as a brand spokesman and as someone that deals with a stutter. I'm going to go interview people during my 2 p.m. live. So I'm taking my show now, turning it into a brand show for a limited week, and I'm going to interview other people that stutter. By the way, if you're interested in knowing about that, if you stutter or knowing someone does, please contact me. But now I'm taking my brand story, my personal message of defying the odds and overcoming a speech impediment, have an amazing career, and now I'm leveraging it on a week-long display of other people like me. What are you doing to leverage your brand story? What makes you unique in your space? It may be your expertise. It may be your doctorate. It may be whatever, but it also could be your personal life history that adds value to your brand story. And most people are kind of afraid to put their personal life into their media empire. But did you know this? And I'm going to tease this up for some other stuff. Darth Vader stuttered. James Earl Jones stuttered. The voice of CNN, the voice of Darth Vader, Mufasa. He openly shared that as part of his brand story, as part of helping other people. And the list goes on and on. Do not be afraid to bring your personal life into your media life to amplify what you do as a media empire. Now, one thing you do need to learn as you build your media empire, you are going to need to learn how to be a good interview guest. Podcasting is all the craze right now. I just now launched my podcast show. I've been doing streaming TV, streaming interview shows for decades, but I've never done an audio podcast. I just recently began to peel off the audio and put it up on an audio podcast now. But you need to learn how to be a great guest. You need to know how to go on these shows, and because you're a brand media now, because you are the go-to expert now, you are the brand itself, you need to know how to show up, good camera, good lighting, good microphones, but more than that now, you need to know how to show up and shine as that expert. What are those go-to stories? Go right back to what I was just talking about. Do you have those brand go-to stories? They will help you in every interview you do. Do you know how to talk in sound bites, but they don't talk like sound bites? Some of my stories are so smooth. I've practiced them so many times that when people ask me questions, I can slide in a small little statement I know will be that aha statement. You watch this on the news every night. Every night of the news, the politicians that practice with their writers, that have been in their room, that prepare for this, they know exactly the soundbite that will become the #1 headline across the news cycle. That doesn't happen by accident. They have prepared a statement. They know when they ask the question, boom, the crowd will react, it will grab people's attention, and they'll begin to go from there. You need to know about the power of sound bites. Plus, right now, all the craze on social media is shorts. Shorts have exploded. If you are not using shorts to amplify your media brand right now, learn about shorts. Contact me or other people that you've seen here today to learn how to leverage shorts. 10, 15, 30 seconds at the max. Now, you may think that sounds really short, but commercials have always dazzled us. In 30 seconds, we've learned and we bought and we've purchased and we've gone back. It's amazing what you can do with short content, but you pull your short content from your interview shows. Take a great little small little soundbite, make your short, and put a link in the description that goes back to the full interview. Now we're back to building that media empire where everything interconnects again. So you post that on Twitter, but your long video is on YouTube. They watch the short, hit the link, they go to your YouTube. Maybe your YouTube now has an added bonus. Click that. Now it takes them to your website to go get media that you've created to support your video. This is an endless cycle now that you get to create your media empire. It keeps people in your funnel. It shows them how amazing you are and your expertise, but you are more prepared to be on interviews. One of the biggest interview tips I can give you here in the little time that we have, know your opening statement. Usually the host will say, "Hi, welcome, thanks for being here today," just like Tim did. And "Rich, great to have you here." Now, Tim and I had a little fun, a little banter back and forth. But when they give that formal introduction, by the way, that formal introduction you need to write. You need to give them the formal introduction. They need to introduce you the way you want to be introduced as that go-to expert. And then when you hit the stage, your interview chair, the actual physical stage, whatever it is, you need to hit that with high octane. "Thanks, Tim. This is great to be here." I know it seems like overacting, but it works. Believe me. And you want to hit it right away after that introduction to people know you are amped up, you're ready to go, and this is going to be a fun time. The other thing you want to think about when it comes to interview skills is the end of the show. At the very end of the show, one of the biggest frustrations that I have as a host, MC, is when people clip the ending. Let me explain what that is. At the very end, I'll usually ask for your social media. Where can they find you? What's your biggest takeaway today? And we begin winding down the show. It's pre-planned. I know how I'm going to land it. I want it to be tight, professional, exciting. The best thing you can do after you share your social media and they say, "Thanks for being here today. That was marvelous. Thank you." And then just sit there and smile. Don't do another thing. Just smile. They may have a couple more words to say. They may have a sponsor to thank. All you need to do is smile. What often happens is we jump over the announcer for one more, "Thanks, everybody. It was great to be here." Don't do that. Don't do that, because you now sabotage your own brand. You sabotage you being the expert because the announcer just amplified you. They just went through all your credits again. They gave your book. They told you where they can go connect with you on this social media. They thank you for how great an interview you had. And then you jumped on one more time and it feels like failed to launch, blown. It's two cars crashing at the end. I'm telling you, if you want to have more podcast interviews, if you want people to recognize you as an expert in your field, you know how to shine bright and you know when to shut up, do not clip the expert, the host at the end. Just shine and let them wrap things up. Finally, I want to talk about repurposing content. We touched on that a little bit, but repurposing content is the best thing in the world. Did you know that way back in the day, when I Love Lucy, and again, who here remembers the old I Love Lucy show? Desi Arnaz, Lucille Ball, Little Ricky. Let me see in the chat if anyone else remembers I Love Lucy. I Love Lucy was running. And back in the original days, I Love Lucy was just aired. And they would move on to the next episode and move on to the next episode. Many of the shows were aired live. Honeymooners and other shows were live. There was no replay or network holding or anything. It was live. Broadway brought to TV. Desi Arnaz and Lucille Ball thought at one time, the show's been going, it's pretty successful, but no one saw the early episodes. No one know what we did. What if we played them back again? The birth of replays was born. And people went back to watch the early episodes and catch up on Ricky and Lucy and their neighbors. And the ratings went through the roof. MASH, when it first came on TV, did not have the success that people now know about. MASH actually almost got canceled after the second season. MASH got picked up in reruns, and finally, it really blew up when they went to late night news. In my particular market in Minnesota, it was at 10:35. Yeah, 10:35, not 10:30. They created a new system for holding people with the replay of MASH. Ours was the final sports guy came on at 10:35, wrapped it up, and the MASH came zooming in. And at 10:35, we watched reruns of MASH every night. And it exploded in reruns. And because you started at 10:35, you would go past the top of the hour, and you couldn't go back to another network because they had already started, so you were stuck on that network. This is what you do with media. And finally, one more illustration of this is Star Trek. Star Trek is celebrating over almost 60 years now. The original Star Trek was 3 years. And we've all seen the original Star Trek over and over and over. Replays work. Think of your shows. Think of your podcasts. Think of your interviews. Think of your little short shout outs, your lives. Think of them as being replays that will get more amplification. So many of us are doing it one time and we think everyone saw it. I'm done with that. I don't ever have to do that again. No. Your audience is always growing. Your audience is always going to have new people peeking in and checking you out. So with that philosophy in mind, as a media empire, you need to do a rerun. And to go back to the very beginning of Walt Disney, one of the things that Disney did corporately was one of the most major, smartest things you could ever do. If you have a course that you've created, if you have a special video series that you know is a home run, Disney created the Disney Vault. And they would have premiere movies, and every so often they would say, coming out of the Disney Vault, it hadn't been seen for years. You can create that type of content buzz by replaying it on purpose at the right time for the right reason, and people will jump on your content because they haven't seen anything like it for a while, or they missed it the last time you did it, and they heard how amazing it was. Are you beginning to understand how to build media empire? You are the brand. You are the expert. Everything you create, everything you share comes out of you. You cannot hide in the shadows, and you cannot let someone else do this for you. This is something that you have to decide that you want. It builds credibility. It builds sales. It builds affiliate relationships, and it builds you as someone that's marketable, trustworthy, and you are an expert in your space that people have got to get to know. I do have a gift for you. I'll find out how we can share that, but it is a gift to help you look at the different questions, some of the questions I've laid out here, other questions, to help you begin questioning what you need to do to build your media empire. You have an empire, whether you know it or not. To stand out in the new media space, to cut through all the noise. Start building that media empire. Shine brighter and shine brighter. And if you have any questions for me, contact me, rich@richbontrigger.net, or go to rockstagemedia.com. I would love to help you out. Tim, come on back. I want to hear what you think of all my nonsense.
Wow, you just gibbered on for an hour. I didn't know. So many things that are in there that are so adaptable that you know what I mean, that to relate back. I have a friend, John Limbacher. I don't know if you know John. John Limbacher, who talks about marketing all the time, and he says, nothing is created and works online that hasn't first worked offline.
Yes.
He says, and I used to say, that used to be my opening statement when I did Blog and VideoCon was, There's nothing new under the sun. The concepts that we teach were implemented in marketing before the internet, right? We just moved them over to the internet, right? And you're a perfect example of it by sharing, even sharing just the replay. Oh my God, impactful. So.
Well, and I saw one of the questions in here about my show length. My 2 p.m. show is 10 to 15 minutes, and my regular show, How to Rock the Stage, is 30 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
It was an hour originally because I would do the live show, and then we'd go backstage and ask private questions of our guests. I have 3 years of bonus content that has never been aired.
Wow.
You know what I'm going to do with that bonus content? I'm going to make new shows.
Yeah. Well, I mean, because I stopped doing my Tim Gillette show because I originally started, it was 1 hour show, and then it went back to 45 minutes. And, I just was like, okay, I'm taking a break. And, I like little 10-minute shows, truthfully. I do. I like a 10-minute show. You're in, you share the concept, you're out. I have not perfected a 10-minute interview yet. I'd have to tap into you better. I've still not perfected a 10-minute interview. So
I can help you out. Because micro content now is all the rage.
Mm-hmm.
And if you can do that, people are listening in their earbuds. They're working and exercising. Those micro shows are grabbing such an audience. And if you do a micro show off of a long show, if they want more, it is like that bonus content. It is like going to the vault. You can have one, you can do both and grow your audience.
Yeah. So I have tons of hours of recordings I probably could put in and have split up. So, and I know
never waste your content. Never waste your content, Tim.
No. I've only pulled down, I think you and I talked about this. I've only pulled down 4 or 5 interviews in my day. And that was because something the person did. All right. And it's just, we talk about our cancellation culture. Something they did that was just wrong. And I'm like, I'm not going to associate that with my show. And I've pulled it down. But I have also been scheduled to be on someone's show, and I didn't follow their protocol, and they bumped me. And I'm like, there's an important thing there. I mean, you kind of talked about that, when to let the person running the show run the show. Yeah.
And I've had that happen, and I've literally had to let them go mid-show in a live event.
Oh, wow.
You need to protect your brand. That's a great point, Tim.
Yeah.
Your brand is you. If someone hijacks it, goes off script, does not come through in the way that they promised, and this person went, we were supposed to be talking about podcasting. We had a live virtual audience. We were supposed to be talking about podcasting. They went political.
Yeah.
And I gave them some leeway and tried to re-navigate back. They stayed political, and they got worse until finally it was like, hey, thanks for being here tonight. I know you got some busy things going on. And I literally let them go. But what I did in the moment was I turned it into a teaching moment for the audience. I talked about what you do when a show goes crazy and off script.
Mm-hmm.
At the end of the show, the people were blowing up the chat box saying, thank you for turning ugly into a learning lesson. So you can do anything if you're prepared to know how to do it.
Yeah, exactly. So cool. All right, my friend. Well, I appreciate you coming by, and I guess you're going to send me an email when I'm doing your show.
Yes, you'll be getting an email. I promise you'll get it. And everyone come and join Tim and I on that Wednesday night. Watch for it. Thanks, Tim.
All right, man. Talk to you soon. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that wraps up another simple, easy events for April. I'm going to start out, first of all, as we go to the closing here, by going down my list of things that I like to do. First of all, I want to do my thank yous. Thank you to Chaz, all right, for coming out here today and sharing. I know he had a tight schedule, and just he made a great offer, letting you try their system for 7 days. Bonnie, I thank you, Bonnie, for the first time coming out here. It's the first time I get to hear you speak on an event. First time I get to meet you, even. All right. And that was such an honor to get to hear from you and hear how much we have in common on telling people the internet marketing. Katrina Sawa, I thank you for introducing me to Bonnie and connecting me there as well, and coming out here, today and sharing your own time. All right, I know last week was we had less than a week to put together. Both her and Bonnie came in at the last minute for this. I want to thank Rich. Rich connected me through Sandra D. Robinson, and I appreciate Sandra D. for actually connecting me and Rich for coming in and sharing his time here with us today. To you guys who've been here the whole day, all right, I see all of your comments. All right, Luana, all right. Well, Bonnie, you're in the comments as well. Who else we have? Dr. Patricia was in here. Katrina was in here. I think I seen Robert in here for a bit. All right. So many of you guys leaving comments today. All right. And being engaging with our speakers. Thank you. This is by far, I love this, that this gets better. This is by far the greatest virtual event I've ever put on. And I thank everybody who made it happen. You the people who are attending an audience, you the speakers who promoted it out, who showed up, who gave 100%, all right, who gave them a great offer to take advantage of it there. So in closing, remember, we do have a virtual event, virtual event every month, and it's on the third Tuesday of every month. We start at 11 a.m. Central Time, go to just after 2 p.m. Central Time, all right? So it is about a 3-hour event now. If you want to promote it to your friends, go to timgillette.com/affiliates, timgillette.com/affiliates. Let me see here really quick here. I got it here somewhere. There it goes. timgillette.com/affiliates and sign up. If you, all right, would like to actually have coffee with me and find out more about whether we can, whether we, we have a promotion for you or ways that we can help you, go to timgillette.com/coffee. Two other things that we mentioned today. This one here, we very rarely mentioned it, but all right, we do have a mastermind. We meet every Wednesday night, and it's all internet marketers. We have a special going on right now, timgillette.com/gold, and you can go there and you can test it out from month to month. Now, our mastermind is normally, it is a 1-year commitment, all right? And everyone who comes in, they have to come in for a year commitment. But we have actually put this in here as our gold level. You can go in and check it out. It is $97 a month. You can test drive it and see if you like it. Come into our calls every month, get the help, and get connections with everything we taught here today, as well as many, many more. Our weekly call is not just business, it's personal. Some people got to come in to share their wins. Some people come in and share their losses and ask how we recoup and fix it. Some people come in and just have questions. Others got to come in and go, you know what? It's been 2 weeks since I've been here. Let me tell you guys what I've been up to. And we all know each other. We all know each other's personal stories. We know each other's business stories. You want to check that out, timgillette.com/gold. And lastly is we put this up here today. The Simple Easy websites, if you actually know it's time for a website, as Katrina said, every 2 years, you know it's time, or you're on like a Wix platform, or you just bought the domain on GoDaddy and you don't know what to do with it, go here, timgillette.com/April web special. All right. That will be up until midnight tonight. All right. Where you can get $200 off after tonight. It will be $997. You can get it today for $797 plus the monthly hosting. You pick your monthly hosting package on there. Any questions with it, go to timgillette.com/coffee or go to simpleeasywebsites.com. All right. And book a consultation with us, and we'll talk to you about your specific situation and how our program can help you get people coming to a website and giving them names and email addresses and buying from you and getting to know you on your own place on the web. Other than that, man, thank you all for being here. I will be back here on May the 16th. The website will be corrected, and we'll start looking for our speakers for that tomorrow morning. Go to simpleeasyevents.com. I'm Tim Gillette, your host, and I will see you next month. Bye now.